Good evening, folks. I know that you all have heard me talk a lot about this intravenous nutrition stuff. So I think it's probably time that I finally show you what exactly that means for me living out here in the field. It may not be readily apparent, but I am living in the mountains. I pop into town exactly once a week to have a dressing change done on my pick line, to get some more TPN, and then I am back into the mountains and camping, which is complicated by living on IV nutrition. So tonight I'm going to show you how that works. So this is my big bag that I keep all of my medical supplies in for what I call plugging into my TPN. So I'm going to get all that out right now. These are batteries for my pump. We've got over here tubing for my TPN, which, by the way, stands for Total Parenteral Nutrition. If anybody ever has that on a quiz. On this side, I have alcohol pads and syringes. And I always forget my pump, so that's the last thing I need. All right. Put this down out of our way. Get some hand sanitizer. So, now this is how I cook my dinner. There are tons of mosquitoes flying around me right now, which is a little bit unfortunate because I don't have any bug spray on. But what can you do? So, this is the tubing that, if I can get it untangled, goes into this bag of TPN. So I just twist off this little cap there. Take that one off. I use this as a trash bag. That's my tubing container. This goes right down inside. It's called spiking the bag, as any nurse can probably tell you. And next is these little guys. These are multivitamins. So in the bag are my macronutrients, like protein and carbohydrates and fats, and all of my micronutrients come in these two little vials that have to be injected into my TPN. I just threw that paper on the ground. I promise you I'm going to pick it up. So I'm just wiping the tops of these little vials of vitamins with alcohol so that those can be nice and sterile. I'm also gonna do the same thing with my hands. Rub a little alcohol on them. It always burns. All right, so vitamins come up in the syringe. If you haven't noticed, we are still at Twin Lakes, which is kind of one of my homes. I spend a lot of time out here. It's just a nice area. I mean, come on. All right, second vial of vitamins going in. All right, I'm gonna turn this way so you guys can maybe see a little bit. It just has a little port here that you squirt your vitamins into. Plug that back up. That's going to go into a Sharps container. Put on my trash in the bag there. Okay, so now we have the pump, which is run by batteries, which is a really inconvenient fact because in the mountains or anywhere in the winter, when it's getting cold at night, these batteries die really fast. So sometimes when I'm camping in cold environments, I have to change the batteries in my pump 2 or 3 times a night if I want to get a full night's nutrition, which I haven't come up with a solution to that yet. So if anybody has any ideas for how to make batteries survive in the cold, that would be great. Okay, pump is powering up. It makes some noises. I'm going to prep my tubing. I just snapped off a little piece that nests into the pump here. So it's kind of like, well, that's not true. I was going to say it's kind of like Legos, but it's really not. All right, that's inside. I'm just programming it now. We're going to repeat the same infusion that I do every night. It's going to go through all these little formulas. I'm going to mix this up in the meantime so that my vitamins are evenly distributed throughout my TPN. Now, this goes inside of here, and I'm going to prime the line. So all this is doing is taking this tubing that is empty right now. It has air all throughout the line, and pumping some of this formula into it so that when I connect this to my body and start to infuse the TPN, it's not first pushing in a lot of air, which would be bad. You can get air embolisms and whatnot from things like that. So you want to avoid it by priming the line with the fluid. And it's going to take a minute. Typically it takes about 6 mils of fluid, 6.5 mils to completely prime this line that I will then connect to my body. Put my old batteries in my garbage pile there. Yeah, it's really beautiful out here. Okay, so you can see the formula. Well, you probably can't. I can't even see it, to be honest. There it goes. See it dripping out of the end? That means we're done. So, now the clothes have to come off again. This is an inevitable part of being me. You are at least halfway naked a considerable amount of the time. So this is my PICC line. This is what allows me to connect the tubing to my body and infuse the TPN. So what I'm going to do now is clean off these two ends really well. You can see I'm not wearing gloves. Some people will probably freak out about that, but I sanitize my hands. The ends are clean. Everything's fine. Plug and play. I'm going to press yes. I'm going to press run. And unclamp this. Now I am eating and will continue to eat for the next 12 hours. That is how long this infusion runs, and that's also one of the aspects that can make it tricky because you're trying to time your infusions with your life. In my case, I like waking up at dawn. Dawn is at 5:30. That means that for a 12-hour infusion to be finished at dawn, I need to be plugged into it by 5:30 p.m., which did not happen tonight. It's 8 o'clock. So I'm late, and I'm going to have to remain plugged into this until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, unless I decide to cut it short and miss calories, which I am very reluctant to do because calories are the most difficult part of this entire project. But that is a video for another day. I hope you enjoyed watching. Well, I guess I'm not done yet, actually. I need to put it in this bag that I used to carry this around in because it would be really inconvenient otherwise. So what this does is it just contains my TPN and my pump. It allows me to really easily carry it around on my back so that I can continue to be mobile even though I'm attached to an IV, which is incredibly important to me. So throw that in the bag, Velcro it all up. Now we're done.